Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be looking over the patch 4.4 preliminary patch notes, doing an overview, thoughts, all that good stuff. Recording it live on Twitch, so hello everyone on Twitch. And you can't even say hi to the YouTube folk because your chat isn't showing, so ha! Anyway, as per usual, tons to talk about here, and tons of stuff that we can probably skip over because it's just the expected stuff for each of the patches. So what do you say we just get started? Of course, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, wonderful trailer, by the way. One of my favorite patch trailers we've ever had. In fact, I think it is my favorite patch trailer that we've ever had, so make sure to go and watch that one. New main scenario quests being added. Those screenshots aren't new. They've been on the 4.4 website, and they're only going to give us the first two quest names, Sisterly Act and Feel the Burn. Obviously, LSA and the quest to unlock the Burn, the new dungeon. And then they won't give us the names of all the rest of them because they're spoilers. So just do them on patch day or do them when you get around to them. Four Lords is going to be continuing with the Firebird down below, which is going to be the quest for Suzaku, who you can see in this picture with Tenzin, Genbu, and Byakko. Still missing Seiryu. I don't think he's this little dragon neck here at the bottom left, so gonna have to wait one more patch to see Seiryu. So Firebird down below, that'll of course you need to have progressed at this point through the Four Lords questline. If you haven't done it, the 4.3 Four Lords questline does not have a trial. It does have a little solo instance that's mildly entertaining with Tataru in it. Make sure you get that done before 4.4. We have the Interdimensional Rift Omega. This is the finale of Omega. And in the beginning, there was chaos. It's kind of a telling name for, I guess, what we can, expect going forward. Make sure that you've completed Sigmascape Normal and all the quests at this point. And we'll be unlocking it at Jesse in Rhalgr's Reach. And then from that point on, there's a total of 4 quests, expected to be quite cutscene heavy. I'm going to have to skip them the day of the patch to get to my Savage rating ASAP, but I'll make sure to get those watched before we have our spoiler cast and before Air Zivia, of course. They're changing the prerequisites to unlock the Crystal Tower raid series from back in A Realm Reborn. It's no longer obtained at all by participating in Fates. An objective has been added where players must defeat an enemy that spawns on a specific location. That's like those purple circle quests that you do where you walk into the area, the monster spawns, and then you're good. So that should make it much less tedious. And they've also made adjustments to all the fates that were previously part of it now that they are no longer a part of it. Domin Enclave is getting its side story expanded a little bit. Lighting the Way is the quest that's going to be there. So just continue delivering stuff to the Domin reconstruction efforts and woohoo! New side story quests have been added. I don't know if that is just literally referring to Lighting the Way or if it's talking to all those like mini exclamation marks you get, which aren't really quests. They're more like cutscenes. I'd assume that's what they mean. Players can now ride mounts in the Domin Enclave, and an Ethernet's been set up there. There's even a mender that can be found there. Thank goodness. I kind of forgot you can't use mounts in there, but thumbs up for me being able to ride mounts in there. To gain access to mounts, players must first complete the main scenario quest, Elation and Trepidation. Okay. St. Mocion's Arboretum Hard, you'll need to have done an Overgrown Ambition. That was for St. Mocion Arboretum Normal Mode. And of course, I finished the Stormblood questline. And then go to Sawney in Rhalgr's Reach. They made some adjustments to Zloe. We knew they were going to be doing this. Players will gain access to be able to cast Glamours on her now. So she's going to be getting the same functionality as Kurenai over in Suino Sato. And there's also been her rewards have been buffed to match Monago's. So all the EXP and scripts have been buffed as well. If you get married, now if you complete the Ties That Bind, you not only obtain the cake and the prisms for the wings, you now also get glassy wings. So if you want to do your anniversary or you want to get married for the first time, it's a little more in it for you this time. Treasure hunts, they've made adjustments to the rewards from Gazelskin maps. The shifting altars of Uznair have been added. This is just whenever you do your maps, your Gazelskin maps, there's a chance of it being the Lost Canals like we had before or the shifting altars. I wonder if you can still obtain Thief's maps inside of the shifting altars to use for the hidden canals of Uznair. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Item level sync is 370, max players 8. It also finally explains the exact rules of this roulette, which we only got to see previously in the live letter. So you spin the wheel, whatever it lands on determines what happens for your specific turn, up to a maximum of 5 turns. If you get 1 gem, it's a weaker reward and a weaker boss. For 3 gems, it's a greater boss and a greater reward, and the Elder Summon results in an Elder Summon if you get this one. I wonder if that means it legitimately spawns like an Ifrit or an Odin or something like that. I think it's probably just a fancy terminology But we have seen some of the other dungeon bosses like Fenrir popping up as one of the possible bosses in there. So who knows? Maybe it summons a little super easy thing before. I don't know. Maybe it does something. Atomos is instantly going to eject you from the instant, so that's the failure thing to get. And then the Arcane Circles to shift. So I remember so right before the patch notes came out, there was an interview that came out that kind of detailed this a little bit more. So apparently this gives you a super rare, this is like a really rare tier reward, similar to the Elder Summon one up. However, when you actually get the exclamation mark, it changes all the remaining possibilities on the board to be either exclamation marks or Atomos. If I'm remembering that correctly, I'm pretty sure that's how it went. And finally, there's one to summon a Matunga Prince, which again, I don't know what I guess what I don't know what the actual effect is, like, other than that's the boss you're going to fight for that wave. I don't know if it's specific reward set, if it's the equivalent of one of those dudes dropping down to give you a materia chest. I don't know. And then so you have 5 waves, but if you get a Atomos or everyone's KO'd, then of course you're going to get kicked out. They've also made adjustments to the rewards available in Uznair, both Lost Canals and Hidden Canals of Uznair. Grand and free companies, we're getting Wanderer's Palace hard mode and the Vault as new squadron dungeons. New flagged missions, Sapper Strike, that's going to be the one that gets you to your captain rank for your grand company, which will increase the maximum seals you can hold to 90,000. And the amount of EXP gained in missions by unit members has been increased. New craftable items for the company workshop, new stuff for subaquatic voyages, which we're not going to dive too much into. Furnishings from the design contest have been added, so if you're someone looking to spruce up your housing, you got a few pictures here for, like, got some bunk beds, got this nice little chandelier, and you got a nice little outside fountain in a hedge garden. So let's see. New furnishings have been added as well, just in general, not just design winners. Mannequins are going to be available. Only Makote mannequins are going to be available from the start, but they're saying they're going to add other races in the future. So weird first race to go with, and second of all, let's not put this on an Eggy Glamour schedule. Okay, just putting that out there. Just don't put this on an Eggy Glamour schedule. Put this on like a, next patch, give us another race kind of schedule. Purchasing a mannequin is super simple. You just purchase it from one of the NPCs listed here, placing it, and then tying a retainer to it so that way it can actually access the market board and you can sell items via the mannequin. There's also a limit per estate. Obviously, the bigger estates have a higher limit. And then the mannequin, you can choose to, if you wish, sell the items off the mannequin. You can choose to sell them only as a set. You can choose to sell them all individually. Or you can choose to just display them. If you don't want to use the selling portion of the mannequin, you just want to use it for display purposes, you are also completely welcome to do that as well. It gives you instructions here how to selling as a set, what the actual ramifications are of that. And and then after the items are sold out will be displayed for the equipment type, but the mannequin's appearance will not change until you select that equipment type again. So if you want to sell the item, but you also want your mannequin to functionally have that look, as long as you never touch it again, it can do that. So there you go. Listing items for sale, displaying gear, and also display items without putting the gear for sale. The mannequin cannot be used to display glamored items. I'm assuming that means if you have an item that's glamored, it's just not going to work. Purchasing gear, accessing a mannequin will allow you to purchase the items that are currently on sale. So if you walk into someone's house and you want to buy it, there you go. Estate tags will just allow you to identify if you're using your house more for role-playing purposes. For example, we have, a Stage Reborn had a theater, for example, or maybe somebody wants to make a boutique, a designer home, a house that's entirely an aquarium. You're going to have all these options to make sure that people can see that in the actual search menu. They told us about this, I think, in a dev blog and in the live letter at some point. New equestrian rolls, a new aquarium, fish, a new seed for the flower pots, aurum bulbs, which you can purchase from those NPCs. A new gate, as well as changes to gates overall. Leap of Faith is like a jump puzzle style gate that's going to pop up on the rotation with the other gates. It's not going to be something that's always available, but they let you know that this is the NPC you'll go to when it's actually available. If you actually reach the goal in the allotted time, which I think is 10 minutes, is 2,000 MGP. Participation reward is 100 MGP. And you also get bonus MGP for collecting bronze cactars, silver cactars, and gilded cactars. Excuse me. So if you collect those on the way up, you'll get more MGP at the end. So they made some adjustments to gates here as well. There's no longer a fee to participate. and they changed the schedule. So it used to be on the 15 minutes after the hour and 15 minutes before the hour. So every half hour we'd have a gate. Gates are now going to be occurring every 20 minutes on the hour, 20 after the hour, and 40 after the hour. And it's also going to be random between 3 fates depending on the time. So like, for example, on the hour can be Cliffhanger, Time of My Life, Leap of Faith. 20 minutes past the hour, Any Way the Wind Blows, The Time of My Life, and Leap of Faith. And 40 past the hour, Any Way the Wind Blows, Skin Change We Can Believe In, and Leap of Faith. Looks like the Vase one has been removed overall, so they just got rid of the Vase Gate, which is fine because I didn't care for it very much anyway. Although Skin Change is the one I have a harder time with personally. Let's see. Time of My Life got its rewards buffed. Any Way the Wind Blows now dynamically rewards you based on how many turns you actually last, which solid change. I was actually wondering why it didn't work that way in the first place. And the Time of My Life also similarly, 0 to 3 moves, 4 to 7, and 8 to 9. It rewards you more accurately for your different efforts across the various moves that you can perform. And yeah, Vase Off has been removed overall. Cost of the mini Cacpot is now 10 MGP per card. It doesn't scale up to 100, 200, 300. It's just 10, 10, 10, so nice and cheap. They also buff the rewards from the Jumbo Cacpot. Now at the minimum, you walk away from the Jumbo Cacpot with 1,000 MGP. Fourth place is 5,000, third place 50,000, and second place 100,000. First place still the same cost, however. New prizes have been made available for MGP, so there's a new mount for MGP. Typhon or Chupon, whichever name you prefer. He is going to be a new mount available for MGP. So I guess I'm definitely short on MGP right now, so I guess I got to make use of all these buffs and stuff. So, because I want that mount. It's cool. It's a cool mount to have added. I just didn't expect it. If it doesn't come with a Funga option as a mount action, I will be very upset and demand that for the next however many live letters until we receive it. So please put it in that way right from the get-go. They, of course, added some new triple Triad cards. They do that with every patch, and some new NPCs that you can challenge as well. New performance actions. I'm surprised they didn't talk about this as much. I guess with how much they talked about it in the last couple of patches and the live letters leading up, they decided to just, let's just let performance be itself. They didn't put it. I remember because performance was on like the 4.4 website. It was on the live letters. They didn't even mention this one very much. I think they mentioned it once, like 2 or 3 live letters ago. But timpani, bongos, bass drums, snare drums, and cymbals. And then, of course, input settings are now compatible with German and French keyboards for that. New challenge logs have been added, one to complete 3 command missions for 5,000 Grand Company seals. They're also consolidating the challenge log into a battles category, which contains dungeons, guild hests, companions, player commendations, and wondrous tales. And then also a crafting and gathering one for land, hand, and custom deliveries. Just to, I guess, cut some of the options that are there, because there are way too many of them. Ceremony of Eternal Bonding, new decorations, new ceremony favors, a new gift for guests has been added as well. And of course, the option to get an anniversary ceremony taken there. Players can register the date engraved on their eternity rings at the Sanctum of the 12, allowing them to re-accept the quest, The Ties That Bind. So, more importantly, it looks like this isn't another cash investment. It looks like paying the initial price of the actual wedding will incur all the costs of your anniversaries going forward as well. So players may only re-accept this quest on or after the day of their anniversary, and players may only undertake this quest for the anniversary once per year. I'm very surprised to see that they didn't put some sort of monetization, a further monetization behind this. So the feature works a little bit better, I guess, than I initially intended. It's tied to your eternity rings and the date that's on them. In the event a player and their partner in different time zones, possible the anniversaries are on different days. Okay, and then it's just the process here. Talk to Hau Bajiri to confirm the date of the anniversary, and then you'll get a notification that you can, every time you go to the Shroud or that specific area, any one of these areas, it'll remind you that your anniversary has come and that you can actually partake in the anniversary events. On top of that, with a new gift for guests, I guess that's a good thing. Solid. More Eternity Cake as well. Following adjustments have been made to Wondrous Tales. They added a bunch of new objectives that can pop up in the rotation for it. The rewards for using Chloe's Gold Certificate of Commendation and the Silver Certificate of Commendation have been changed. New emotes have been added. This is the Tataru, like, hands at her side, waving her head left and right one. If you if you register your companion app, you get the Tombstone Phone emote. So you can look I don't know. The way I look at that and I go, Oh, you. Anyway, so yeah, enjoy. Premium plan not required. So there you go. New hairstyles have been added as well. So battle system changes. So there's probably going to be a lot of these here. The effect is now applied as soon as the action is used. They're trying to make it so that like area of effects, things like Passage of Arms and even ground effects like Salted Earth, that they apply as soon as they're put on the ground. This to me, I guess they're just taking them off of the queue, off of the server tick. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if it's like it'll tick once. I doubt Salted Earth will tick as soon as you put it down, but maybe it'll be able to register that first tick a lot faster. That's what I'm assuming is actually happening here, as opposed to it sort of being taken off the server tick overall. So Patches of Arms now applies as soon as the action is used. Salted Earth is the same. Samurai got some potency buffs. Enhanced NP bonus. We were joking yesterday that what if they just only buffed NP and that was the only thing they buffed? NP and displacement. Looks like that's not the case, though. 20 potency to enhanced NP. 20 potency across the board to all their combo finishers. So that should see a decent increase, a little bit. Those are buttons you use fairly frequently, so 20 potency every 2 to 3 actions is going to add up over the course of a fight. Hisatsu Yaten, delay before using your next action has been reduced. Okay, so they're just making it so it doesn't take up as much time as it does. It's almost like the old pot effect, how pots like take a really long time to activate and before you can use your next skill, why we can't double weave them. I guess it just had that kind of delay reduced. Doton now applies as soon as it's used. Black Mage Fire 4 got a 20 potency buff as well, considering it's the bread and butter for their, of the spells that they cast. Fire 4 is the spell you're trying to cast with the most frequency. I'm sure Black Mage will tell me that adds up to a pretty decent amount, on top of the fact that it, you get the multiplier from Astral Fire for your fire spells. Summoner, Radiant Shield no longer reflects damage to attackers. I wonder why they decided to get rid of that. I mean, it's a nice chunk of damage that's dealt from Radiant Shield. I'm surprised to see them get rid of that in general. I mean, it still has the other effect where you apply the vulnerability up, the physical vuln up, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't think they needed to do that. Maybe they felt like this was necessary to bring Red Mage and Summoner closer. During the live letter, they said they wanted to bring Red Mage closer to Summoner's level. Maybe they determined that this was something they wanted to do. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how the Summoners actually talk about the math. I'm sure if I Googled it right now, I could already probably find some comment threads about how much this actually affects total raid DPS contribution. Earthen Fury and Shadow Flare now applying immediately. Red Mage got some potency buffs, 10 to Earth Thunder, 10 to Arrow. Scatter, chance to get Enhanced Scatter went up by 5%. And Enhanced Scatter now increases black and white mana by 10 instead of 8. Contra Sixte, which is not how you pronounce that, sorry. 50 potency added to that, 50 potency to Ver Flare, and 50 potency to Ver Holy. I mean, these seem like pretty decent buffs overall. I'd imagine it'd result in like, I don't know, like 100, like a couple hundred DPS probably. I mean, these are not things that happen infrequently. The AoE, I guess the Enhanced Scatter is the buff to the AoE damage they were talking about during the live letter. And I don't know enough about Red Mage to know this. My first thing, I see that and I see a few 50 potencies. Obviously, Contra is off. It's an OGCD. Ver Flare, Ver Holy you'll use once per completion of your melee combo and the backflip. So Ver Thunder and Ver Arrow you'll use fairly frequently. So it's I mean it's good. And the Contra is also the AoE one. Fleche is the single target one, if I recall. Now Fleche is the melee range. I don't remember. I should have stopped trying to name Red Mage skills when I don't play it. Either way, I know this is the AoE skill. So there's a buff there, and then this should help with the AoE as well. Either way, some pretty decent changes to Red Mage, especially when factoring in Radiant Shield here. I mean, I don't know how much this was, but I know it's enough to be a somewhat significant talking point of overall raid DPS contribution. Not a huge amount, but still something that brings the two a little bit closer together. Would have probably liked to have seen some changes to Embolden. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that skill overall. I just don't like it very much from the way it's designed, but if we're going to see any changes to something like that, probably won't see it till the expansion. Asylum applies immediately for White Mage. Sacred Soil Shadow Flare now apply for Scholar. Astro Collective now applies immediately, and it looks like all your minor Arcana buttons can now be activated much more quickly. I guess that's for cases where like you have a minor Arcana and you have another card that you want to use as an Arcana, so you can go through those a lot faster. So that's good. Makes it a little bit more responsive. And then, all right, moving on. Those are all the job changes. No Dark Knight. Sorry, we'll probably just wait for the expansion on that one. Help text for certain actions has been changed. Maximum number of roll actions raised to 10. The burn has been added. Minimum item level 340. Feel the burn, of course, is going to be part of the main story quest. St. Mosian's Arboretum, we listed that up above, having to do that Secret of the Ooze quest. Item level sync for Drowned City of Skull at 370. You have Hell's Kier, which requires 355 or above for normal mode, and Firebird down below. And then you have to speak to the Wandering Minstrel in Kugane after finishing the normal mode in order to get to the extreme. That's going to be 370 or above for Suzaku. Yeah, good luck. There's not really much else to say there. Adding Echo to the old stuff to Tsukiyomi's Pain and Castrum Fluminous and Tsukiyomi's Pain. That's normal and extreme for Tsukiyomi. Alphascape being added. There's the Chaos Arena looking dope as hell. Normal mode, average item level 355 or above, and that's in the beginning. There was Chaos, and then that'll lead into all the rest of the quests. As for the actual loot system, working the same as all the previous ones, where you need multiple lenses, cranks, shafts, pedals, any of that stuff in order to actually get the various different items, and then those will drop in the various different tiers within Alphascape normal as a whole. So good luck with those. Players will also receive a Crystalloid once per week. You'll need 7 of those in order to purchase the Tombstone weapon, unless of course you get the item from Savage, in which case you can skip needing the 7 weeks. This is stuff that you should all be familiar with if you've been playing the game for quite some time. Savage is probably going to be all listed the same here. 370, 375, 380, 380 for the various level requirements, item level requirements for Savage. It's pretty much in line with the other stuff. 120 minutes for V4. I don't think any of us are really surprised by that all too much. And you must access the Magic Terminal after you complete normal mode, pretty much. Treasure coffers appear in Alphascape. Players will not be matched with those who have already completed the duty. This is explaining things for people who actually use the Raid Finder more frequently than I do, at the very least. Or I guess the Raid Finder option. I'm never the one who actually queues in. So that's where you have weekly resets, treasure coffers, how much you qualify for loot. All this stuff is all normal stuff for Savage players. You guys all know how it works at this point. Also, all the data log trade-ins from your once per week data log from your various kills. And then the weapon coffer from 012 Savage. And then we have the Raid Finder. Duties have been added. Hell's Kier Extreme and all the new Savages. Players can now enter the following via the Duty Finder. The old Extreme Primal from 4.3 and Sigmascape Savage is going to be in the Duty Finder as opposed to the Raid Finder. Weekly restrictions on Ridorana Lighthouse have all been removed at this point. Weapons Refrain, the restriction on the Ultima Totems has been removed, so any remaining weapons you don't have if you've been clearing Uwu, you can farm them out in the night and then be like, and I'm done. Maybe get a few bonuses for maybe the 5.0 jobs will have Ultima weapons. I know I'm going to get a few backup totems just in case. Following additions and adjustments have been made to tombstones. This is the new tombstone comes in. It's capped at 450. The old one that was capped at 450 is now uncapped, uncapped weekly and caps at 2,000 overall. And then they take the previous one and creation no longer available. You turn those into mendacity tombstones and then you forget they exist forever. This is something we've been doing every however many patches, and then Verity have just been completely removed from that little menu. We've been doing that since A Realm Reborn, so we're all super familiar with that. Going to be able to buy the Byakko mount with 99 totems now. Figured we'd probably get that this patch. Duty Roulette Expert's going to be moved back down to 2 dungeons, the 2 most recent ones that are added in this patch, and these are all going to be rotated into the other roulette. The following dungeons have been added to level 70. There you go. Hell's Kier also added the normal mode added to the trial roulette. Alliance Raids Ridorana has been added to the Duty Roulette for that. Honestly, I wasn't prepared to see that because I keep forgetting we now have an Alliance Raid Roulette, something that was just a fantasy for so many years. And now it's a reality that I almost didn't register that I actually saw it in the patch notes. Alphascape will be in Duty Roulette normal raids. Following duties have been added to Duty Roulette Mentor, pretty much all the new stuff, the new dungeons, the new normal primal, and Alphascape. Let's see, Duty Roulette Mentor up to 355 now. This is the adjustments they do to everything. When they rotate tombstones, they also rotate the rewards. They keep the numbers the same, but they just change the names of which ones actually qualify. So none of this is new. It's just letting you know that it's up to date with the new tombstone names, pretty much. Stone Sky Sea has been added for Alphascape, for Savage, and for Extreme Suzaku. And also, then there's another one. And an icon to indicate the exit for Eureka. Man, people have been asking for a way out of Eureka so much, they're like, let's make sure we mark the exit. So good old quality of life to find out, how the hell do I get out of this place? Following adjustments have been made to Pagos. The heat wave effect has been adjusted. Oh, and also the exit is now clearly displayed again. They're really making sure you know how to get out of Eureka. That's quality of life. That's quality of life right there. New PvP actions. I can't have comments on this. I don't know enough about PvP. Tetra's being added to White Mage for PvP actions. Okay. And they're making adjustments to potencies. I can at least tell this. Dragoon's getting buffed. Well, let's see. Their potency's being buffed. Dragoon's just getting PvP buffs. Bard's getting nerfed. Blunt arrow. I mean, I can at least tell that much. Flamethrower's getting buffed on Machinist. White Mage deals unaspect damage to all nearby enemies with a potency. So now it does damage on top of healing, like it does in its PvE form. And Benefic, while under the effect of a bridge, will cause a bridge to be applied again. Okay, cool. And White Mage. Oh, well, White Mage had Benediction removed, so I guess now I understand why they got Tetra. So, Seal Rock, Fields of Glory, and Daily Challenge Frontlines no longer require the purchase or registration of expansions. Good. It doesn't affect me very much, but it's nice that they're not tied to the expansions anymore, so players who want to try PvPing earlier can try to actually utilize them and actually play them. Following adjustments have been made to teams. Team privileges have been transferred to team members. Due to the ending, teams may now recruit again. And the HUD elements used in the Feast and Rival Wings can now be changed from the Wolves' Spear Den. So just letting you actually change the in-match HUD in the Wolves' Den itself. Adding a focus attack option so it can count down, so it can burst down a target at a designated time. So that's there, and then Feast is now in preseason, and Season 10 will begin in 4.41 in a couple weeks. New items have been added. This is the gear from the Burn in St. Mosion's Arboretum. It's reskins of Baelsar's Wall in Small Hard mode. So new recipes being added. This nice looking coat right here. Certain items now being sold, desynthesized, and submitted as expert deliveries. See, the desynthesized thing is the thing I always look at. Certain equipment via raid rewards or token exchange will now be converted into materia. Following items can now be painted. Okay. As a colorblind person, I guess I have no appreciation. Raising the desynthesis cap both for individual and for collective cumulative skill caps. White Inu Kabuto and Black Inu Kabuto now unique, no longer unique and untradeable. Batuzu feathers are now regents instead of other. Okay. Pumpkin cookies are now moldy, so don't hold on to those anymore. And also they changed the names of the Royal Nimian stuff that are those 3 Royal Nimian items overall. Your Chocobo companion now is summoned up to 60 minutes instead of 30. Okay. New mining, new gathering in general, new fishing hole in the Domin Enclave, new fish. Success rate for those fish has been increased. Spirit bond accumulates while spearfishing has been increased. Fishing log displays the conditions necessary to catch certain fish. I'm actually surprised to see that put in game. They seem to almost like reveling in that mystery that they had that we had to figure out. You have the Suzaku Doggo right there. You can increase the ground speed of mounts in 4.0 areas now. That's probably going to be with purchasing the items via the hunt again. Behemoth, Gubu, Laurel Gooble, and Cavalry Drakes can now fly. Oh boy. So let me just say this. If the Gubu doesn't do a helicopter spin, I don't want it to fly. If it's anything but that, you've ruined my fantasy of a Gubu flying mount. So fingers crossed for your sake, because I'm gonna be real upset if it's anything but that. That's all I gotta say. I wonder if they're gonna start doing this now with the old Beast Tribe mounts in general, because that's the first Beast Tribe quests we ever had, were the Amalja and the Sylphs. The Behemoth, I've got no explanation. That's just been in the game for a pretty long time. But the other ones, and then the Gubu, because the Laurel Gubu can fly, you might as well make the Legacy Gubu able to fly as well. So, oh yeah, I don't know. All I know is that I wonder if we're going to start seeing the other ones that can't fly be made able to fly, which I would be okay with. The Mikoshi mount now scales according to the height of the player character. Man, I like it the way it is now. Suzaku barding, a Capybara minion, and then some system changes. This is where they add a bunch of stuff for, tankless job, and they add the new duties to that. And, the tank you, they add some new duties to that. Achievement rewards can now be claimed via a menu. Okay, select the achievement category and open the reward. Oh, so instead of accepting them one at a time, you can just accept them from a menu instead of him just being like, well, here you go. Well, here you go. Well, here you go. Well, here you go. This would have been great years ago, but it'll be good for new players, those people who actually enjoy it. And he's actually marked on the mini-map. It took him 5 years to mark that dude on the map, but he finally has his own icon. Goodness. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Shop selling price has been added to items. B-Stripe quest items are now described as such in their descriptions. Okay, adding for more clarity. Following information will no longer be displayed in item comparison. Okay, that's good because we don't need to know those things. Collectibles will now indicate with an icon. They showed us that in the dev blog, if I recall correctly. So that way you don't have to actually click them to see if they're collectible. Changes have been made to the display location of the item search. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the party finder. A message will now be displayed if no results are found when using advanced search. Okay, and in recurrent criteria, switching to another duty after assigning roles will no longer cause the role assignments to be reset. They will, however, be reset if newly selected duty has different role requirements. Okay. Oh, the duty recorder is changing from Sigmascape V4 Savage to Hell's Cure. Great. This feature is still such a disappointment to me. The limited use of it, and I'm moving on. I'm getting upset. Following adjustments have been made to the group pose. We knew they were making all these movements can now be added. They also let you do the time of day, weather, actions performed by minions can be viewed there as well, although some minion actions are not available. Buttons have been added to the angle of view and the roll angle to move the sliders in increments of 25. The construction paper 2 screen effect has been added. Okay, so yeah, that's what my camera kind of looks like right now. Oh no, my camera actually looks a little better now. Not much better, but a little better. The open all setting has been added to the inventory interface option for Windows DirectX 11 and PS4. Yo, now it's the DirectX 9 that's not getting anything, man. That's it. DirectX 9, you just can't handle the game. Limitations, man. Alarm feature has been added. You can set alarms for Eorzean time, local time, or server time. Look at that. Producer live letter, site log, fishing, take a break. Excuse me, sir. Please take a break. Select add alarm, and then you can see all the different options. AM, PM, reminder. How many minutes in advance you want a reminder. It's a feature, again, I would have never asked for, but it's a cool thing to have. And then it'll pop up like this in the top right. The alarm producer live letter has been set for 4 a.m. and notification will be given 0 minutes prior. The unending journey will now allow you to specify quest progress in order to view a variation of cutscenes. So you can, if you have a cutscene that can be viewed in 2 different ways depending on quest progression, you can choose to see both versions of the cutscene. However, I still can't play a bunch of cutscenes in a row like a movie, which an autoplay feature is the #1 thing I want. So I'm going to keep asking for it until it happens. Following adjustments have been made. Oh yeah, they made a bunch of changes to the minion and mount guides. They covered this in the dev blog a while ago. We did a separate video about it as well. Emotes now also include a favorites tab, just like the minion and mount section does. Moogle delivery service has been updated. It now has categories for things such as, messages you get from friends versus messages from GMs or messages that come from like rewards that you may have gotten for, I guess any sort of reward you may have earned from any sort of, like, I don't know, pre-order or expansion or whatever. Any of those things. The clock in server info may now be toggled between 12-hour and 24-hour formats. Okay, so if you want to do the 24-hour clock, you can do that now as well. Try on subcommand is now available for items currently equipped. Following additions and adjustments have been made to actions and traits. Duty action. Why is there a second duty action button? Why do I need 2 duty action buttons? Why would... Oh... There's a duty action too. Oh boy. Well, let's just say this. I don't think they would have added this if it wasn't being used in this patch. So so let's just recap here. Roll actions increased to 10 and another duty action button. Nice. Nice. Anyway, moving on. A few other options here. Character configuration interface. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the text commands. / quick chat / alarm. Oh yeah, these are just text commands for all the new stuff they added. / tombstone for the phone emote. Macro icon command can now be used for quick chat icons. Group pose / idling camera. Corresponding text commands have been disabled. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. It's interesting. I don't know why. I guess I don't use those features enough, so it's like an actual. I don't understand why. New music has been added. Yes. Okay. Coinciding with the switch to SSL, URLs for all ranking and play guide pages will be updated to a secure site, HTTPS. An icon has been added to the login screen in preparation for a future update that will allow character settings to be backed up and loaded. So it did not make it into patch 4.4, but basically they're just allowing us to back up our information, our hotbars and UI stuff into a backup server. But apparently it didn't make it in time. So yeah, we'll just have to wait for that one. Overall, pretty standard patch. A few surprises here and there. Curious to see why that second duty action is there. My chat, I just peeked over at my chat real quick for like the first time in the whole video, and I saw that somebody suggested maybe it has something to do with the logo system for the next Eureka. Maybe it's because we need 2 actions in O10 or something, or in O10 Savage. Who the hell knows? Whatever the reason may be, I'm scared. I'm straight up scared. I want this mount though. This is something I want. I'm actually looking forward to farming some MGP for that mount. But otherwise, pretty standard patch note overview, job changes, all that good stuff. So I'm going to wrap up this recording over on Twitch, and I am going to post it to YouTube and let the comment section go at it, because that's always a fun thing to get an email about every time there's a new comment for a excuse me. But anyway, that's because I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm dehydrated from the never-ending talking. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you to those of you on Twitch for tolerating with watching me live, because I know you all actually hate it. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned. Of course, with the 4.4 coming around the corner, we have plenty to talk about. Plenty of guides, plenty of first kill videos coming up, and also some other stuff I got to get to recording today, too. Nintendo Direct was pretty interesting for Final Fantasy fans yesterday. It's also just... it's an okay Direct overall. But we'll talk about that in another video. Anyway, I will see all of you in the next video, and until then, take care.